just the course of a little over a generation, since 1980, we've lost 655,000 independent cattle producers from this industry.
Our work is at its heart about getting more farmers on the land and building up strong rural communities. So when our organization was sued, you could imagine people were scared.
During COVID, all the schools, businesses were shut down, but the meat processing plants were still working. I hear stories from workers crying because they say, well, we are literally being sent to die. So I remember that is when we came actually with FarmSTAND in a legal way.
RCAF is devoted to using all the branches of government within the system to reform the system.
And I think the relationship that we've had with FarmSTAND has kind of helped build that bridge between the producer and the consumer.
You know, anywhere that we are fighting against this kind of corporate consolidated system and building an accountable community-based food system, we want to be there.
How our society produces, distributes, and consumes food affects everyone. Right now, that system maximizes profit at the expense of everything else. A handful of corporations have consolidated control over all aspects of the food system and shaped laws that let them exploit people who grow, harvest, and process food, as well as those who buy and eat it. They often concentrate the worst harms on the most vulnerable communities, especially immigrants and communities of color. These companies' factory farms pack more and more animals into big warehouses, creating breeding grounds for disease and polluting their neighbors' air and water. Consumers say they don't want this, but policies that prop up the industrial ag system and big ag's lies about the quality of their products are driving food producers who care about the land, the animals, and the people they feed out of business every day. Our food system should nourish people and protect animals and the environment, not just make rich corporations richer. That's where we come in. FarmSTAND drives precedent-setting lawsuits rooted in our relationship with the communities most directly harmed by corporate agriculture. Farmers and ranchers, food chain workers, and members of rural communities are leading the fight for food justice and seeding transformational change. FarmSTAND is by their side, building the food system we all need.
So we're at our 25th anniversary of convention in Deadwood, South Dakota. And here we talk about the issues that we've been working on throughout the year. So we're going to be talking about country of origin labeling. We're going to be talking about issues like the beef checkoff program and the need to reform that program.
We've done 3 different checkoff suits on behalf of RCAF. We've also represented them in issues regarding labeling.
So the bottom line here is through this judicial case, we've been able to say minor changes to these ads could increase your sales.
We're thankful for all the help they've given us on there. You know, when they see an injustice, they tend to step in and volunteer to help.
Members of Winona County care deeply about the land and their environment.
Well, I care about it personally because my family came from farm background, and that's my people. That's really sort of the tradition I was raised in. But also, agriculture is very important to the Minnesota economy.
In 2019, the largest mega dairy in that region was trying to triple in size and become the 4th largest CAFO in the state of Minnesota. So, like community members do, through advocacy and organizing, they spoke up to their county government officials. And the county officials denied this expansion of the factory farm. After that, this factory farm filed a lawsuit, and they sued some community members who were part of LSP. We don't have lawyers or that expertise to be able to fight back against that. And FarmSTAND for us has been a strategist and a partner. We've been victorious every time this lawsuit has been brought because they understand how to win in the courtroom and work with community members.
The beginning of Rural Community Workers Alliance is actually because if you see injustices and if you don't do anything to correct them or to make the things right, You become part of them or you become cómplices of that.
La verdad, hubiera seguido trabajando, pero ya el cuerpo ya no podía porque han aumentado el trabajo, la producción.
Si no sabemos nuestros derechos, no nos vamos a poder defender.
2020 hits, and you start reading all the stories about meatpacking workers. And so I just called up Axel and said, like, are you guys okay? What's going on? Is there something you want to do about this? And what he said was, we do.
When the lawsuit was filed, the next morning, the company was already distributing masks.
Through spending a lot of time listening to what was going on in Milan, and trying to build a long-term relationship where we said the law might help you someday, and just getting to the point where that day came, we were able to do something together that I think really brought about some change.
By bringing bold legal action, partnering with community leaders, and holding corporations accountable, we can advance a food system that is truly sustainable. We know we can't do it alone. Join our movement for a food system for people, by people.